McColl, and we are now just a couple of minutes away from the top of the hour, and I wanted to get on and welcome you and say hello. I'm here. Welcome, Joseph. I see that you've already asked some questions. I noticed some folks are joining us on Instagram at this time. Welcome. And we have Facebook Live open as well, where we'll have some more folks joining us there. So we're going to be here together for a short while. And I'm going to be giving some guidance on a very important subject matter. Hello, Swiss Miss. Good to see you again. Hi, Celine. Happy Wednesday to you. And we are going to be focusing on a couple of things during this time together. And one of them is really how to intensify your belief in yourself and feel that confidence even more predominantly within you. And also to address any questions that you may have. So we're just waiting, getting more and more people joining us here. I will be starting promptly at the top of the hour. We're about 30 seconds away. So what I suggest that you do is get a pen and some paper and get ready, because not only am I going to give you some information, but one of the things that I do, as you may or may not be familiar with, is I also recommend the many wonderful ways that you can put all of these great ideas into practice so that they become disciplines in your life, so that you are truly experiencing anything and everything that you desire, because that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you live and experience a much better life, a life that you're meant to live, so there isn't any more struggle, and so that there is a greater sense of fulfillment, and that you have this wonderful thing called balance in your life as well. So I'm delighted to be here to serve you, and thank you very much for showing up, because without you, well, delivering these sessions would obviously not make a lot of sense. So I am so happy to have you here with me. This week, I've had a lot of people make comments on a video that I recorded a short while ago called The 7-Day Miracle. And the reason why I mentioned that is I'm not going to get into the 7-Day Miracle stuff here right now, and we may or may not do it at a later date. I've been thinking about expanding on that with a greater explanation of what these things are. But the reason why I mention it today is because what I've come to know, not only from studying success and observing what other people do to create phenomenal success and experience quantum leaps, is a deep commitment to new disciplines that are absolutely going to contribute to your success, doing things a little bit differently, or maybe even drastically differently than you've ever done before. That's really what I believe is important as it relates to you experiencing some more success. So I would, yeah, okay, thanks, Natalie. She says, I'd love to have you teach that. Yeah, I'd like to expand on that as well. And so today we chose a topic. Celine actually chose it for you. And Celine is an incredible woman. And if you don't know who she is on my team. I'm so blessed to have attracted her into my life. And I'm grateful for her every single day. And one of the things that Celine does for you and for me is she really pays attention to where are the needs, where are the desires, where is it that people really need a lot of help with. And even before we got on the call today, Celine had actually sent me a message with some suggestions for what we will do next week. And I love that about her. I love how her heart is so centered on kindness and so centered on giving. And so it's not just me that's here to help you create better results or experience more of what you desire in your life. It's my team as well. Celine is here, Eric as well, Trace, Kayla. I'm pretty sure just Celine is on the call right now. I'm not sure if Eric is here or if I know Trace is driving right now. And I'm not sure if Kayla's on the call either. But anyways, that's the point. And so the royal we, that would be my Celine. I love her. She suggested that we talk today about boosting self-belief and confidence to manifest your every desire. So self-confidence is such an important subject, and it's a concept that pretty much will positively affect everyone if they invest some time and energy into really working on that, really building up their own belief system in themselves. Because one of the things that you may or may not believe is that you do have exceptional power within you to manifest anything. But many people don't even acknowledge that. They don't recognize that, and they're simply in their own way. So one of the best things that you can do for yourself is really build your belief about yourself. How can you do that? Well, there are many ways to do that. And one of the ways to do that, to really build your belief in yourself, is through affirmations, but not just citing words that you're just repeating over and over again to pat yourself on the back and say, oh, good for me. I did my affirmations today, or I listened to my audio recording today. It really is to feel it, like genuinely feel that you are worthy of every good that you desire. You are an important person. One of the cards that I have, I'm just going to grab my phone here for a minute. And I know we're doing the Instagram live event here right now, but I have this thing inside my phone case, and I think you'll appreciate it if I can just get it out. There it is. Yay. And so apologize to my Instagram friends if me picking up my phone was a little bit of a challenge, but I have this card inside my phone case that says the following. It says, you matter. And I want you to know that you matter, you matter, you matter. Everyone that's on this call right now matters. And I remember when I first saw this card, it was sitting on a desk in a seminar room where I was scheduled to speak. And I found it on the desk, and it was just sitting there. There's nothing on the back, and there's just 2 words on the front. And I saw that and I thought, wow, how important is that, to have people recognize and acknowledge and know that they matter, because they do matter. You do matter, but we don't always feel it and we don't always believe it. And I was certainly not raised in that environment that I knew that I mattered. As a matter of fact, I didn't even think I was lovable. It is sweet. You're right, Natalie. I didn't even think I was lovable. So the more you can understand that you matter, and that even if you did something like this, like I carry around this card with me, and you could write these words on a little index card. You could write them on a sheet of paper and just put it on your mirror, somewhere to remind you that you do matter. But another thing that you can do is, if you have a Power Life script, and I hope you all do, and if you don't, get one. So you can go to powerlifescript.com. And in your Power Life script, you can include statements about how incredible you are, how wonderful you are, how you love yourself, how you appreciate yourself. And it's not a matter of bragging or being egotistical. It's a matter of having self-love, which I believe should be your first love. Your first love should be self-love. And when you have self-love, everything goes better. Everything. From your relationships with your significant others, from your relationships with your children, with your prospects, with your clients, with your colleagues, anyone and everyone, you will have much better relationships. So those are just a few things that I absolutely recommend. Something that we created recently, and I'm going to explain why we created and what it is and how this applies to what we're talking about here, is something called mini power scripts. And the reason why I created these mini power scripts was to help people build beliefs within them. So part of those mini power scripts are, they identify certain things, certain areas that you would want to build a belief for. minipowerscripts.com. Thank you, Celine, for posting that. And so if confidence is something that you'd love to build, then we created a mini power script to help build your confidence. And it's like a statement, a very short statement that's repeated over and over again. And the instructions are that you play it and you listen to it over and over and over again as well. So that's mini power scripts. So those are things that you can do that will absolutely increase your belief in your faith. Also, the Power Life script will have you believing in your dreams as if they're already here. And the reason for that is because you continue to impress these ideas upon your subconscious mind through space-time repetition of listening to your script over and over again. And today I've had a complete overload, in a wonderful way, of script listening. I've been out walking my dogs. I walked them actually today for a couple hours. And even while I was, doing some development work today and some other prep work for an event that we're running this weekend here in Florida, I was listening to my Power Life script. So I listened to it today multiple times. And a little later, I'll be taking the dogs for a walk again with my husband, and I'll listen to it again. And so listening to your Power Life script will absolutely have you build those belief systems in your mind as well. So Tammy's asking the question, are the minis the same as the regular Power Life script? No, not really. Mini scripts mini power scripts were designed to help you build one belief system. You can do both of those things. So for example, you could listen to a mini power script over and over and over and over again. Let's say declaring that you are easily earning $1 million a month as an example, because we have a program called $1 million in a month. So we created a mini power script for that. So they're just like one short statement that's repeated over and over again to build one belief system. But the Power Life script is really all about your entire life. So the way that I look at it is the mini power scripts are designed to improve, let's say, one muscle in your body, maybe your biceps or whatever. But the Power Life script is really building everything, every muscle in your physical body. Because if you're doing a Power Life script effectively, you're really writing a script about every area of your life, what's important to you. So that's really and I use both of them. I absolutely use both a Power Life script and a mini life script. And I decided to create that mini power script program because the two reasons, actually. One reason is because I do it myself and I know how it has impacted my life in positive ways. And two, I believe that there's some people that just haven't advanced to the point of doing their Power Life script. So they're maybe willing to do something like a mini power script as well. Okay, so we're going to head on over to the questions because we've had a number of questions that have been submitted already. Joseph, I'll get to your question in a minute. I think I have about 4 others that are just in front of yours. So I want to welcome you and thank you for being here as well for today. So the first question is from someone who wishes to be anonymous. And frankly, if you do have a question and at some point for a future event and you would like to remain anonymous and have me address your question, you can certainly email my team, support@peggymccall.com, and just mention that you would like your question addressed on our next live events that we're doing, and I will address it for these special Messages of Magic sessions that we're doing. So this question from Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous, I don't know who it is, actually. All I've received is a question that says, wishes to be anonymous. And it says, do you suggest jumping immediately to the big goals, or has your experience proven that stepwise, still big, but not huge goals are more reliably lead to success? This is a question I've had for years and haven't really understood the best path forward, despite hearing several people give feedback on this. I'm a big thinker, and I sometimes wonder if the reason why I haven't succeeded to the super high level that I want is because my goals have been too big and perhaps they appear overwhelming, i.e. from here to there is too big of a gap. Any validity to that? Or is it all a matter of reprogramming the mind? So if reprogramming, you might as well go all in. Absolutely. So what's interesting, I love that question, by the way. My glasses fell down. Okay, I'll get them in a minute. And I think this is a really important question. And whether you had this question or not, I think you're really going to benefit from the answer. And here's my belief. And it really falls in line with my favorite quote from Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, which is, what would you love, right? Just think about it. What would you love? What would you absolutely love to have? Big or small, only thinking makes it so, right? We decide what's big. We decide what's small. I remember many years ago, I was looking at a home to purchase, and it was $1 million more than the one that I was in. And I remember thinking, oof, it felt like a stretch, right? An even bigger stretch than what I felt comfortable with, even though stretches create discomfort. And so I remember reaching out to my good friend, Bob Proctor, and talking to him about it. And he said, $1 million is neither big nor small, Peggy, only thinking makes it so. And what happens is we stretch our mind. Like when you're someone who is into this study of personal development, and you're someone who sets your objectives, sets your goals, you're setting stretch goals, you're expanding your consciousness, you're increasing your level of awareness, you're in the study as a very serious student, and you're continually getting better and better results. What happens is your mind and your consciousness gets expanded, and it doesn't go back to its original form. And what I mean by that is somebody who's now earning a couple of $1 million a year now would never go back to setting a goal of earning $50,000 a year. It's just not in their consciousness any longer. And the point is, though, that it could be that you're sabotaging your own goals because you think they're too big, but they're neither big nor small. It's what are you thinking? What is your interpretation? What is your own belief about that particular goal? Let's say that you set this goal and what you now or previously thought was a big goal or a huge goal, and you set that goal anyway. And I'm going to give you some examples. Okay. So let's say, I don't know who this person is, as I said, but let's say this person has set a goal to earn $50 million this year, but the most that they've ever earned is $800,000. Well, there's a gap there, right? Between 800,000 and 50,000. Now, my belief is the following. Yes, you could manifest earning $50 million a year. The same effort, the same energy to manifest $50 million a year will manifest $1.5 million a year because the process is exactly the same. So what is required in order to generate that kind of income or revenue, if that's what you're looking to create? What's required is that you got to believe it's already done. You have to live from the place of it's already done. You have to feel as if it's already done. You have to feel genuine gratitude, happiness, joy, whatever the emotion is that you're going to feel when this goal is materialized, you feel it now. So whether you're feeling those emotions for $1.5 million or $50 million, it's the same process. Do you see what I'm saying? Same process. So absolutely go big. You can manifest anything that you want. Recently I've been chatting with a couple of folks that I've seen at different events, and I've noticed that, and could be, just the people I'm hanging out with, I don't know, but I've noticed that a lot of people are really stretching themselves these days, and that's great. I mean, you can absolutely do it. And I find that, and I found that a lot of people just typically go like this, up and up and up and up and up. Now, I now know that I could manifest anything that I desire. And therefore, when I set my goals or my objectives, and income being one of them, I'm basing it on what I would love, right? Could I manifest more than that? Could I go for billionaire status if I wanted to? Sure, but I have no desire. It's not sort of in my passion to be billionaire. Multimillionaire is where I am now, but passion to be a billionaire, not there. So you get to decide. And this is one of the great blessings of us being human beings, is we get to decide what it is that we want. So the same effort, the same energy is going to go into you manifesting whether you think it's huge or not. So I would actually start looking at it a little differently. Like, one of your mental faculties is this faculty called perception. And I would just start looking at your goal, not as huge, but I would start looking at your goal as something that's already done, that you've already achieved it, that your goal is in your life right now. All right. And that's what I would do. I'm just going to get my glasses that I dropped on the floor. There we go. So I can read the next question. Okay. Okay. There we go. Let's see. Question number 2. This is from Glenn. I'm not sure if Glenn's on the call, but Glenn may be checking out the recording. Either way, Glenn says, can you describe the difference between dream making and goal setting? Glenn, that is a fabulous question. And I'm really glad that you asked, because I was reading earlier today from this fabulous book called Infinite Potential. And Neville Goddard is the author of the book. And Neville was talking about this same idea, this same concept of people that are dream making or thinking about dreams and people that are goal setting. And I believe the difference between the two is really a decision. It's really a decision. Now, it could be semantics. It could be terms. I mean, people might define it or describe it in a different way. But I believe that when you're being a dreamer is a great thing. It's really where all wonderful opportunities start, is by being a dreamer. But when a dream becomes a goal is when you make a decision that you're going for it. And that's a process as well. Actually, on Saturday, when I'm at the Masters Manifesting, it's my event that I'm running with Phil Goldfine here in Sarasota, Florida this weekend. I'm actually going to be teaching something I've never taught before. I'm teaching the 7 stages to feel it naturally. And part of the stages of feeling naturally, like feeling your goal as if it's materialized, is in that initial stage of dreaming, right? Ideas. but it doesn't really get solidified. And how we go to the next stage, and the next stage is by playing with that idea, expanding on that idea a little bit more, and then making a decision. So actually stage 3 is more in alignment with what the decision making part is, and when the goal becomes set, right? Where it becomes set in stone, if you will. And so that would be the difference. That's how I would describe it. The next question that we have is a question from Whiffsome. And the question is, I've turned an idea into a business. How to get it seen is my next step. Absolutely true. I teach a program called $1 Million in a Month with my business partner, Trace Haskins. And essentially it's for people that want to either create a source of income or multiple sources of income, perhaps earning $1 million in a month or $1 million in a day, if that's what their goal is. And so not only do we go through what the mindset is that's required in order to create that kind of success or even greater success, but I walk through the process of establishing your offerings, and then we get into the marketing components, what's necessary to really build your brand, to establish yourself online as a credible expert or a business and entrepreneur. And we teach all of that. And that's essentially what I've been teaching for years, because I started on the World Wide Web about 25 years ago when it first opened up. And I've been involved in internet marketing since internet marketing really started. I was one of the first people to have a shopping cart on my website. I actually hired a programmer to set up my shopping cart. Now, one of my past jobs when I was working in the corporate world was national marketing manager of a major international company as well. So I have a lot of marketing experience, and I really believe that marketing is essential for any business. And frankly, if you don't understand and you're not applying marketing strategies, businesses will definitely struggle. It's going to be a challenge to really expand that business and build that business. So if it seems like a good fit for you, Wolfsome, for your business, check out $1millionamonth.com. We do have our program. It's at $1millionamonth.com/now if you want to check it out and get yourself registered. But we do teach how to market a business and how you can market it online and offline, but mostly online. Okay, I'm going to head over to the questions that have been asked since we've started today. There's, I think, 4 of them that are here. First one is from Joseph. Joseph says, I got a message when sleeping one night to use my creative imagination to get answers. What is my next step, Peggy, to take? Or do I keep visualizing? Or do I have to change my routine now? Well, I love your question, Joseph. And I'm assuming that if you are, or when you are really connecting and engaged with your goals as if they're here right now, you will get inspired with ideas. And what you need to do is follow through. So if you've set an intention of something that you're absolutely going to do, and then you hear of an idea or you think of an idea or someone suggests something, take action, do something. Even if it is just doing some more research, or if you have a mentor, working with a mentor and having them give you some guidance on what to do next. But either way, action is absolutely essential for success. And I think there was a lot of confusion when the movie The Secret came out, that a lot of people thought if they just sit back, they close their eyes, they visualize whatever it is what they wanted, that it would come to them. And that's not the way it works. It's part of the process, but it's absolutely not everything. Because if you don't get up and move your butt, it's just not going to happen. So I find that the actions that you take will come from being in the emotional state and being connected to the outcome as if you've already done it. That's where you'll get a lot more ideas on what to do next. The next question is from Yasir. He says, what is the proper way to let go and let God? What's the proper way? Well, I think that it involves a lot of faith, like a lot of faith in the unseen. There was a program that was created many, many years ago by my client and a wonderful man by the name of Wayne Dyer, called You'll See It When You Believe It. And so the let go and let God involves letting go of the how, of the way that things are going to happen. You'll get inspired of the ways that things will happen, of the ways that you can make things happen, but letting go and trusting, and letting go and knowing that you will be divinely guided, letting go and knowing that you will be doing things. You'll be moving into action, definitely at some point, maybe massive action, depending on what it is that you want to create. But it's feeling relaxed It's a relaxed state of knowing that whatever it is that you desire is already yours. That's really what letting go and letting God is, in my opinion. Now, I find that the Power Life script significantly helps with that. Absolutely helps build that belief. And that's really what the whole topic of today's session was to be built around, is really building that belief in the unseen. How do you do it? Through space-time repetition of the idea and the knowing that it's already done, so that you can invite your imagination in and really connect to those feelings, knowing that whatever it is that you desire is already yours right here, right now. All right. The more you do that, the better it's going to go for you. Next question is a question from Maxine. She says, what are your thoughts on the chapter Desire in Think and Grow Rich that states the 6 definite practical actions? It seems to go against what you're saying about stating the date and amount of money you want, etc. Yeah, it probably does. I don't agree with everything that Napoleon Hill wrote about in Think and Grow Rich. I don't agree with everything that all of these authors write about. I don't think that because it's in print and that it's necessarily set in stone. And so I absolutely, and it's kind of like, it's not that you can't put a date. I suggest that you don't. And the reason is because I absolutely know from 41 years of studying this, that the best way you can manifest anything in your life is to feel as if it's here right now. So if you have a goal card that says, some other date, then you're not necessarily, I mean, you might, but you may not. And I found that most people don't connect to knowing that it's already done. People are thinking it's a future event. It's a future event. Well, it's not a future event. You got to feel it now as if it's already done. So that's why I don't put dates on my, by December 31st, 2021, but I don't put dates. I write it down as if it's here now. Plus, you're not messing with the universe. You're letting the universe know that you trust that this will manifest into form and that it's already done. So if you set a date of December 2021, and yet, let's say somebody had the same goal and they didn't put a date on it and they expressed that goal and felt that goal as if it's here now, they could manifest it on May the 10th, 2020, right? So it's like you're not holding it back. You see, our mind, our human mind is going to go to this place of trying to figure it out, logic, right? Well, most goals, especially stretch goals, are illogical. The process to get there isn't a logical process. So you got to understand that. So I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with absolutely everything that I read in everyone's books, including that one. As a matter of fact, there's a self-confidence formula in Think and Grow Rich, and I changed it because there's too many negative words in there. Things like, I don't even know what they are anymore because I've changed it so much. Same thing with some of Thomas Troward's work, his lectures. I've used some of these lectures, like The Spirit of Opulence, as an example to study it. But when I see things like, I will no longer blah, 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 or whatever it was, I take that out. I don't want to give any energy to negative words. The same thing with Og Mandino, who is my favorite author of all times. Like, he wrote a book called The Greatest Salesman in the World, and there's scrolls for success in there. There's a lot of negative words in there. Things like this: I will bite my tongue when I go to criticize. What's that given energy to? Criticism, right? Biting your tongue. Who the hell wants to do that, right? So I believe we should be focusing only on the positive in everything. We got to be very careful. This is a very powerful thing, this thing called our mind. You got to be careful what you're allowing in and letting out. Thank you. All right, great. Shamjaju. Anyways, I'm sorry if I'm not saying your name properly. The question is, how do I get in the state of believing the goal has already happened? Practice using your imagination, creating a power life script, listening to it multiple times every single day. Shan Majaju? If you don't have a power life script, get one today. Go to powerlifescript.com and start listening to it right now. And you'll find that will help you have the belief and the knowing that it's already done. That's what's worked for me after all these years. All right, great. The next question is from Nancy. She says, my question, Peggy, is when you have an item on your power life script and some parts of it manifest and others don't, when do you switch gears, thinking, okay, it didn't come, but something better? Sure, it could be something like that. I've had situations like that where I had my mind and heart set on a goal and it didn't happen, but something better did. And so you detach from exactly what it is. Sometimes the universe does provide even greater results for us. So Thank you for asking that question. Obed Perez. Can I use these techniques to improve my abilities? Absolutely. You can use these techniques to improve your abilities. I've used it to improve my abilities to speak on stage. So my Power Life script talks about how I'm a phenomenal speaker on stage. I talk about how I'm an effective communicator. I talk about how I am in my business. I talk about being phenomenal at marketing and at sales and all kinds of other things, customer service. And so definitely you can use a Power Life script to improve your abilities as well. Thank you. Great question. I appreciate you asking. Okay, Vinny has a question here. Can we use the Power Life script to implant ideas in our subconscious mind, such as the thinning substance lines in the science of getting rich? Thinning, you mean thinking substance? Thinking substance lines in the science of getting rich? I'm not sure what you mean, Vinny. So if you would mind thinking, yeah, I know. So can we use the PLS to implant ideas on our subconscious mind, such as the thinking substance lines in this? Okay, all right, Vinny, I understand. No worries. No need to send anything further. Yes, absolutely. That is exactly what the Power Life script is designed for. It's designed to reprogramming your subconscious mind so that you have the belief systems inside of you that are built and strong so that you are attracting everything that you desire into your life. So yes, great question. Thank you for asking. Okay. I am JC Morales. Once I set a C-type income goal, should I attach it to my current company or wait for other possibilities? That's a great question as well. I would just leave it. You know, it may end up coming from another way, from another source, from another opportunity. And I love your question, Tamara. And we're going to get to that one next for sure. Yeah. So, and I'll give you an example of that too. I talk about my income in my Power Life script. I'm assuming it's coming from my business, but I have a lot of sources of income. You know, I'm earning money from other sources of income, not only my business. And I remember years ago, and we're going back many years ago, like back in the 90s, when I started using the Power Life script as a process on a regular basis, on a daily basis. And I remember, you know, declaring my income and really detaching from how it was going to happen. I was running my business. I was doing well. I was earning money. And then an individual that I met from Silicon Valley in California had approached me and asked me to become a partner and establish a business for him, like really get this business up and get it going. I wasn't looking to run anybody else's business. And it was kind of interesting that that opportunity came to me. But I think what's important with your income and with your earnings is to really be in alignment with what your purpose is. So I established my purpose in life to be a positive contribution or to make a positive contribution to the lives of millions of others in only positive ways, contributing to people in valuable ways. And when you know what your purpose is and you get opportunities, it's so easy to make a decision on whether you will or will not follow through with that opportunity. So when I was approached about having this additional opportunity in my life to actually run this other business, this additional business, I accepted it because it was on purpose. It was something, and we did very well. We got it off, got it rolling, and then they took off after that. I think they ended up selling the company. And so what I find is that when you're detached and you're not telling the universe this is how it's going to happen, greater and more wonderful ways and scenarios will unfold for you. So I love that you have asked that question. Okay, I saw a question here on Instagram. I'm not sure if Celine saw it as well. So right now we have Facebook Live, we have Instagram Live, and we have YouTube Live that we have going on. And Celine is just like a little bunny running from each platform to the other platform. She's gathering questions and she's sending them to me so that I can address them. And she's putting them into WhatsApp. And that's open on my screen over here. So I'm answering these questions. And I saw a question come in on Instagram, but it sort of moved up the screen and is gone. But I found it. It's Tamara. And she's saying, how can I overcome my resistance to sales? I love that you're asking that question. So Tamara, I'm not sure if it's Tamara, I suspect you have a Power Life script. Yes. Actually, you can type it in on Instagram and let me know that you have one. And if so, then, and of course, having resistance to sales can be debilitating for anyone who's in business for themselves. You got to look at it a little differently. Again, it's a perception thing. We can look at sales in a wonderful way, a loving way, recognizing that we're here to serve. And an example of that, okay, great, tomorrow. So what I would do is I would add something to your life script that speaks to you about how phenomenal you are at sales. I do this. I have this in my Power Life script. You are a phenomenal salesperson, that you love providing exceptional value to your clients, and that sales has become one of your greatest skills, and that people often ask you for advice on how you sell so easily and with such grace. And so write something like that in your Power Life script, Tamara, and that'll have you really believing it and knowing that it's true. And another way that you can really help with this. So for anyone that's on this call that perhaps is in an online business, or you're a coach, or you're a speaker, teacher, maybe you're creating online offerings or programs. The other thing that you can do is really believe in your product or your programs or your services, like really believe in them and know that you are giving more in use value than you are in dollar value. And a wonderful example of that are my programs. So the programs that we offer through Dynamic Destinies. And a great example of that is $1 million in a month. And so when I got the idea to create a program called $1 million in a month, and I shared it with Trace Haskins, who's my business partner, he loved the idea. And we made a decision that we're going to create this program. And it was a lot of work, a lot of development. We do Q&A calls every month, twice a month. And we've been guiding people to create and establish themselves online with their own businesses, whether they have an idea or they don't have an idea. We only charge, like the registration fee is only $997. It's like peanuts relative to the enormous benefit that people will receive by applying what we teach. So I know that. So there's no hesitation whatsoever in any of my programs to recommend them to people, because I know what I do brings value. Now, how do I know? Because I've applied it in my own life, because I'm experiencing it in my own life, because I've generated millions of dollars and am generating millions of dollars in business and profitable revenue doing work that I love. And so I know that. And the same thing with Power Life Script. Like, it's incredible that we only charge $67. I mean, that could easily have been 100 times more than what we charge, $67 for that. Like, I remember running that idea by Bob Proctor, who's my friend and mentor, about the Power Life Script. So I told him about it. I told him what I had done and what I was creating and all the recordings that we had created in this entire intensive program. And he said, so what are you going to charge for it? And I said, $67. He said, phenomenal. And at first I thought he was going to say, what are you, nuts? Are you crazy? That's too inexpensive. And he said, that's phenomenal. He said, you are bringing so much value to the world with that technique. So I feel really, really good about it. And so for you, Tamara, and for anyone else who has that resistance around sales, improve or increase your own belief about what you have to offer. Really know that you have something significant, something extremely valuable to offer others. And other people will feel it too, because I really believe that sales is simply an expression of energy. It's an expression of your emotions, of what you're feeling. So you want to make sure that you're really connecting to energy and emotions that feel good to you, because that will be received from other people as well. Okay, we're going to wrap it up with one more question. We will be back next week. We're going to do a couple more live events next week. And we've got some ideas on what we're going to be doing. We'll continue to do these for you. I love that you're showing up. I love that you're here. Thank you so much for joining me. It just gives me such joy to serve you and to be here to help you in any way, in every way that I can. So thank you so much. So Yasir says, Bob Proctor says that we should build a crystal clear picture of what we want. Should we do that? Is it a must, or is it just okay to feel the emotions? Well, it depends. What are you talking about? I think a crystal clear picture, sometimes we don't know exactly what that picture might look like. For example, sometimes people that are, working on their dream home, they don't know exactly where it is yet. But what they do know is what they're seeing when they open their eyes in the morning, or what they're feeling when they're in the home. And you could get descriptive on the things that you like. So for example, My husband and I have been in Florida for a number of weeks. I've been down here doing a number of things, and we love it here. I mean, we love it mostly because we can take our dogs out for walks multiple times a day in the evening, and we are not having to put on coats, hats, mitts, boots, and freezing our butt off. And our dogs aren't freezing their little butts off as well, even though they have fur coats already. But at home in Ottawa, there's salt and sand on the roads. That's not good for the doggies. And anyway, so we've been down here and we've been discussing, whether we would buy a house here or not. And right now we're just fine houses. We rent them. And part of the reason for that is because it's short term. And I had a house in Florida years ago, but I found that I was not there much. And friends of mine were using it and I wasn't really using it. So we like to come down to Florida for a couple months a year, and that's enough. But then we're having the discussion of what are the things that we would love to have if we did get to a point where we would love to buy a home. So some of the things that we would love to have are things like a large lanai in the back, as an example, and one that gets sun during the day, not a lanai that's dark. And actually, when we got here, I was actually doing one of our live events I did out on the lanai. But the way that this house is designed, the lanai is actually, it's covered, which is great, I guess, if it's raining out, which it rarely rains here, but it's dark. And so I would love a lanai that's brighter, has more sunlight and more exposed. And so another thing that I love, like at our home in Ottawa, we have 8 bathrooms and 7 bedrooms. So we've got lots of space. And when we have guests, we basically don't even know that they're there for the most part. So if we were going to have a house here, I'd want to have my guests that they would be very comfortable, that they'd have their own sort of wing or section. They would have their own bathroom. And so they'd be comfortable. We'd be comfortable, and there'd be enough space for everyone as well. I like space. I also like having an office. And so those would be the things. So if I got to a point where I decided, yes, I would love to own a home here, but yet I don't know exactly which one it would be or where it would be, I would start by describing what are the aspects of that home. What would I love to have in that home? Did I want, or would we love a triple car garage? And would we love a one level home? Like those kinds of things. And so you can get crystal clear as you're going along, because what will happen is when you really connect to your outcome as if it's here right now, the clarity will be revealed to you. When you are in the alignment, when you're really feeling like it's already here. And another great example of that is when I decided that it was time for me to have a significant other in my life. And I didn't know Denny at the time. I had never met him. And yet, and we're going back 15 years. As a matter of fact, it's about this time, 15 years ago. And I made a decision that it was time to have someone significant in my life and to be in a loving, committed relationship. And so what I did was I described what their values were. So for me, honesty is a priority value. Family is a priority value. Having fun is a great value. Someone who's easygoing, somebody who loves dogs, just a number of aspects of what I would love to see in my partner. And then I connected to, now I didn't know what he was going to look like, and I didn't define what he looked like. I assumed he'd probably be around my age, and I assumed he'd probably be relatively fit and those kinds of things. And so I started to visualize and really connect to feeling how wonderful it felt to be with him and doing things with him and enjoying quality time with him. And then 2 weeks later, I went out for a walk with my dog, Noel, and I met Denis. And when I saw him, and it was kind of interesting because I was focused and was connecting to the feeling states of already being in a relationship. So when I saw him, it was like, wow. I mean, I really liked the way he looked. I mean, I love the way he looks. I love him so much. He's such a wonderful gift in my life. And when I saw him come out his front door, because he had a dog tied on his front lawn, and I saw him come out the front door and I started to chat with him, my thought was, I'd like a guy like that. And so, the rest is history. We're married now. I've been married now for almost 13 wonderful years, and they have been wonderful. And I'm so blessed. I really, really feel like I won the lottery of life with my husband. And so with regard to your question there, like your crystal clear picture might not be there, boom, right out of the gate. It may or may not. I mean, if you know exactly what you want, it might be right there. Like I've worked with a number of people. I've manifested multiple dream home properties. I work with people to help them manifest theirs as well. And so if you know exactly which house it is or where it is, and you can define that, then that's great. But if not, that's okay too. That's all right. It's all perfectly fine. All right. Well, we're going to call it a wrap for today. I really appreciate you guys being here. I mean, typically we do these calls for about 30 minutes. We went a little bit over time today, but I'm happy to give you more than maybe what you expect, or to be here to answer a few more questions. We're going to be back together again next week. So please watch for the announcements for our events, and they're free on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm here to serve you guys, whether you're in my programs or not in my programs. I just love being of service to people. It just gives me great joy to know that I'm making a difference in your life. And we're always open to any questions that you may have, or any topics that you would love for us to cover off as well. So from me and my wonderful team, Celine as well, who's here, we're so grateful to be of service to you, and appreciate you so much, and appreciate your trust, and respect you. And so I look forward to being back with you guys again next week. All right, have yourself a wonderful day, wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all real soon.